Today let's look at a convergence of two things. One is particularly Swiss, and one of them is an issue in language technology. And when they knock up against each other, we're going to find that in this case, a particularly Swiss attitude towards doing what the authorities say is going to take precedence over implementing language technology that's obvious and needed, and without which you might not be able to get to a place that you want to go in Switzerland. Now, a few years ago, there was a weekend with a school holiday on the Monday, so I went on Airbnb and booked a little vacation for me and my daughter, and we found a place in a town called Darlingen. I went on the Swiss Rail website, the German initials are SBB, and tried to find the schedules to Darlingen. Let's see what happened. It goes on to DA, no Darlingen. Okay. There's Darlington. I don't think that's in Switzerland. But I couldn't get to Darlingen. You can see when you start typing in D-A-R-L, you don't get Darlingen. And the reason is because you're not typing the umlaut. Now, if you were to type in the umlaut, there you go, Darlingen. I'm not sure exactly how I found the schedule, but eventually I did. We were able to go and have a very nice time. Notice on the Swiss tourism website, if you start typing in DAR, they don't make you type the umlaut. But you can go to Darlingen. There it is, next to Interlaken. And there are lots of great experiences. It was a lovely vacation. After we got back from the weekend exploring the mountains in Jungfrau, it was really nice. I wrote a little note to Swiss Rail saying, listen, you've got this umlaut issue. You might want to fix it because people are not able to get to the places they want to go. And what they wrote back was not, great, thanks, we'll look into that and we'll take care of it. What they wrote back was, in German, Darlington is written with an umlaut. I wrote back and said, yes, but not everybody who's using your apps speaks German. In fact, people have the option of using the site in French, in English, or in Italian. They weren't impressed and wrote back and said, in German, we use the umlaut. I've put the whole correspondence on a blog post. I won't read through it all, but I'll give you a link. You can go and read through it. It's an informative conversation, and yes, I do get a little bit rambunctious towards the end. Let me make you a little link so you can get there. I'm going into Comfupi. I'm popping in the long URL. It's called SBB umlaut or CFF umlaut, that's French, or Swiss Rail umlaut or Swiss Rail umlaut. Okay, so you can go read that at your leisure. After my third email, I didn't follow up anymore, kind of forgot about it. And then a couple of weeks ago, I was going on a hike that somebody else was organizing. The idea was that we were supposed to get tickets to a place called Bonnigen See. There was a group chat on WhatsApp and somebody wrote in and said, I can't find where I'm supposed to go. Somebody else wrote back, try it with an umlaut. If you start typing in Bonnigen, you actually end up getting directed to a place called Bonningen. Let's look and see where that is. So there's a place called Bonnigen. You take a train to Olten, and then you can get to Bonnigen. Let's see where we wanted to go. Now, if I type it with the umlaut, B umlaut O. Oh, look, right there, Bonnigen. Bonnigen C. And let's see where that is. That's somewhere completely different. Next to Interlaken, and an awfully long way from Olten. Bonnigen. Bonningen. Let's see how the tourism site myswitzerland.com deals with the umlaut issue. B-O. Bonningen. With an umlaut. Takes us right there. This is going to be important in a minute. But let's look at the issue with umlauts and diacritics in general that you probably don't think about, but that really affect how you use computers when you're dealing with languages other than English, when you're dealing with languages that have characters that are not your standard 26 that you find in the English alphabet. This is something we've dealt with repeatedly at Camusi because we're dealing with as many as 7,000 languages. So we need to accommodate any writing system that we're going to be dealing with in the software and database that we're developing. Here I'll show you an example from Icelandic that really illustrates it because you've probably never come across this character. Let's look at this character called an F, kind of weird looking D thing. It makes one of the TH sounds. You've probably not thought about it, but they're actually two different TH sounds. There's and I'm not sure which one this is. This would actually be a good character to have in English, but we don't. Okay, so I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to copy the link. And here in Comfupi, I'm going to just make a quick little short link to Eth. There's the Wikipedia page. And look, it's already normalized. I typed in the Eth there, and we already normalized it to the DH sound. Let's create a short link. And it's created a short link that you're seeing here is DH. Now I can just open that up as with the short link DH, and that will bring me back to the Wikipedia page. It's taken that character and said, okay, this is DH. But we still let you type in Icelandic. I've used the eth character. It normalized it back to the DH, went back there, and we're set. We do the same for umlauts. A with an umlaut normalizes to a regular A. A with a circle underneath it, like you'd find in Yoruba, normalizes to a regular A. For a user, you can type the character with the diacritic. Without the diacritic, it's not going to affect your experience. You're going to get what you need to get. The only thing in Comfupi is that if you want to make a short link for rose, the flower, ROSC, you can't then make a different short link for rosé, ROSE with an accent mark on it, because that's going to cause a conflict. So we decided that we were going to only allow things that normalized to a unique value. In other pieces of software, we deal with a normalization in different ways. Obviously, in the dictionary database, rosé with an accent is different than rose without an accent. And there are all sorts of other times where this is an issue that we've had to deal with over and over and over again. In Switzerland, this umlaut is going to be an issue over and over and over again. You might, for example, want to go rock climbing in a place called Alpli. Can you get to Alpli? No, there's some place near Alpli that does pop up, but not Alpli itself, unless you use your umlaut. Okay, there we go. You can get there if you use your umlaut. A-L-P-L. Alpli. There we go. Alpli looks like a nice place, and with myswitzerland.com, you don't need to know how to type in German in order to get there. I just don't know why, if myswitzerland.com can do it, Swiss Rail can't do it, other than that they don't want to do it. They did it their way, that's their way, go away. Or how about Zurich Airport? In English, there's no umlaut. In French, there's no umlaut. In German, there's an umlaut. They do locate two Zurich destinations if you don't type an umlaut. Zurich HB, that stands for Hauptbahnhof, the main railroad station, and Zurich Flughafen. So if you know enough German to know that Flughafen is airport, you can actually get to the Zurich airport on the Swiss Rail train schedule. Zurich Flughafen. Not if I type in Zurich airport. As I type in airport, it continues to only give Flughafen, but at least in the background it's making the association. So you could manage to get a train to the Zurich airport on the Swiss Rail website if you're a little bit brave. What if I type in my Zurich with that umlaut? Well, now we see that there are actually numerous places that one can buy tickets to within Zurich. As long as you know that you have your umlaut, then you can go to any station in the Zurich area that has a Zurich, 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 Zurich. Umlauts required. Now there's one more example I came across that I think is really informative. This is a town called Ulo in Hungary. Now you can book tickets to Ulo on the Swiss site or on the Hungarian site. Let's compare the experience. Ulo does not exist unless I type in the umlaut. Now I don't have to type in the second umlaut because it's already found it. Go to Budapest, and there's Ulo. Budapest. This is actually basically a train trip that I did one day in 2019. Let's do the same thing on the website from Hungarian Rail. U-L-L-O. Ulo. It looks like the O is not even an umlaut, it's some other Hungarian character. I'm sure we normalized for it. Let me just check that. If I wanted to... Yeah, it's been normalized as O. But I'll search for it using the Hungarian character, whatever it's called. Right back to the link that I put there for it for the Hungarian Rail site. How about that? Normalization. Piece of cake. Goes on to Ulo. There we go. Lausanne, Switzerland to Ulo, Hungary. We can buy a ticket without an umlaut. Now, just for fun, let's look at a few places that Swiss Rail won't let you go to in Switzerland unless you know German. Let's ask an AI bot for some towns that have umlauts in their names. And keep in mind that you might not want to just go in Switzerland. You might want to go in Germany or anywhere else that uses an umlaut. Okay, here are some places you can't go. Asch, Berlgen, Darlingen. Not sure why AI is claiming that those have umlauts when it doesn't give us umlauts, but Potschwil, Gansbrunnen, Gumlingen. You get the idea. There are lots of places that you can't go because they're written with umlauts. Even though, as we saw, the technology to fix this is pretty straightforward. Even though, as we saw, the Hungarian website deals with this perfectly fine. And there's one more follow-up. There's an important end to the story, which is that as the group was on the hike from Bonningen with the umlaut, a very nice hike to 3 waterfalls. It was about 21 kilometers. Some of it was along the lake. It was really lovely. The organizer was getting text messages saying, okay, how do I find you? I seem to have gotten on the wrong train in Bern, and now I'm on my way to Olten. So what ended up happening with this person is when they got to Olten, they turned around and went back to Lausanne because they were never going to be able to catch up to us once we were already on our hike in the mountains. They missed out on their day. Now, is this because they had found the schedule to Bonningen and not Bonningen because of the umlaut issue? I can't tell you, but I can tell you it's a real possibility. When Swiss Rail tells you changing the entire programming would deteriorate the experience for the majority of our users, I think that going to the wrong part of Switzerland and missing out on the hike you were planning on for a beautiful Saturday in the spring is more of a deterioration than doing a little bit of the very clear programming that's necessary to normalize for umlauts and other diacritics. We hope that this explanation will help you use the search function more effectively now that you know about it, so please spread this far and wide so anybody who's coming to Switzerland and doesn't speak German knows that they have to figure out how to type an umlaut if they want to get anywhere in the German part of Switzerland. Even if you're not coming to Switzerland, I hope you found this to be an informative video. I hope you've subscribed. Please leave comments if you have any down below. To support the making of more ornery videos from a pirate's perspective, please check out the Patreon page. And please keep visiting. I will be producing videos in an ongoing way of things that tuck into one corner or another of language technology that I hope you'll find interesting.